This is an interesting training video that I recently found in my golf library. It dates back to 1995. Today's date, this is September of 2018. So this video is about 23 years old. There's a couple parts of it that vary in a couple years one way or the other. But I've been teaching this modified version of the Ben Hogan swing for more than the 23 years, going back almost 35 years now. The Hogan version of the swing, it's just a little flatter. I feel this is the swing for all amateur golfers. It's a flatter backswing. I call it the 9 o'clock backswing. When you swing back to the left shoulder, gets to your chin, which is about the 9 o'clock position. You may think you lose a little power with that, and that's probably the case to some extent, but this is a swing for consistency, which most players need. Like I said, I've been teaching this for a long time. I graduated from college in 1970. Even though I was a pole vaulter, I couldn't play on the golf team. I was able to work out with the golf team. And at that point, we had a great teacher, Jimmy Ballard, came to the campus, and I was able to go through his program. Ballard was the first teaching pro who really broke down the swing into various steps. He calls it the 7 common denominators. And he was a Hogan disciple too. He studied everything Ben Hogan did. And, so he was really one of the first great teachers. Butch Harmon since is probably #1 in the world right now, and he's also studies Ben Hogan. His dad, Claude Harmon, won the 1948 Masters, and Butch was able to, Claude and Ben Hogan were best friends, so Butch was able to study Hogan when he was a little boy, very close. But this swing is based on, again, somewhat off the Jimmy Ballard 7 common denominators. We show how we set up here. The idea is set with feet together, line the golf ball up pretty much between the shoes, a little bit in front of his big toe. Take what we call a neutral grip, shoulder width stance. Use a 4-inch rule to try to get our judgment there. So it's a pretty simple setup. There's checkpoints for every position in the swing. And Jimmy Ballard talked about the 7 common denominators. #1 was this great brace-connected address I would set up today. #2 is the takeaway. The left shoulder, left arm taking the club straight away to the set position. #3 is taking the club all the way to the top, weight shifts to the inside of the back foot. #4 is a change of direction, the hips moving to the left, slightly bump to the left, club squares at the bottom. #5, ball is already gone. We're right at the impact here. The same as we would be at #1. #6, then the ball is gone. The club is opposite where it was at #2. #3, we finish a straight balance finish. So in my mind, as I've been teaching this swing well over 30 years, you see this early part of this video. It's filmed in 1995, so it's like 23 years old. And at this point, I'm swinging the same way I did then. Basically the same weight, although the weight is redistributed, not necessarily for the good. Since then, I've probably lost a little bit of swing speed, but I still believe the 9 o'clock backswing position gives you adequate power and much more consistency than trying to get the club too far back. Because generally, if we try to get the club too far back, one of 3 things happen. Either your left arm has to bend to get the club back to parallel, or a grip loosens on heel comes off the ground. When that left heel comes off the ground, it's very hard to, we have to replant it in exactly the same spot to get straight golf shots. So I'm going to hit a few balls, see how my swing compares back to 23 years ago. One thing that was a little different 23 years ago, as I said before, I had a little more swing speed. So I played pretty much everything from a square stance, just slightly open, and I would allow myself to take the club just slightly, what I would call over the top of the swing plane. So I would play either a slight little fade or a straight ball. Today, since I'm a little older and my swing is a little bit slower, I'm still trying, my perfect shot would be a straight shot. And the other position would be a slight draw. So I'm just close my body stance down just a little bit, not only closing the feet down, pulling the right foot back, but also pull your right hip back and right shoulder. So we're swinging a little more inside out, but basically it's a straight shot. 25 years ago or so, my misses, the bad miss would be a hook, since I was a little stronger and a little quicker. Now I seldom hook the ball unless I want to. So I'm trying to hit a slight hook or a draw or a perfectly straight shot ideally. I'm going to hit a few and we'll see how the swing compares to 20 years ago. I've got a 7-iron here to begin with. Set up again with feet together, square the blade. At the same time, I want this right elbow to preset impact and drop it in place as I'm lining up at the ball. And that also presets my hand on the right spot on the grip. So now my left hand will go right in place. If you notice, my right elbow never moves. I take one waggle. It works the same way. Wood shots, I'm going to hit a few drivers here. The only difference with a driver is that we're playing the ball slightly farther forward in the stance. I tee this up and see that I would have the shaft pretty much straight up and down. Instead of being right here on my zipper, it's going to be about 2 inches over. So now the low spot in the swing arc would be about here. So I want to catch the ball slightly on the upswing. As far as everything else in the swing, still grip the club with the bare hand first, allowing the right elbow to touch my side, dictating where I want to place my hands on the grip. So with the right hand in the right position, left hand goes right in place. And as long as that left elbow never moves or flies, I'm going to swing on plane the way I want to. I'll hit a few with the driver here. So again, set up with the right elbow and touching my side right where I want it to be, presetting where I want my hands on the grip. Nice shoulder width stance, weight distribution inside balls of the feet with a bit of a knock knee position, keeping the weight on the insides of the feet. Check the 4-inch rule with a driver instead of just a fist. Take a fist and a thumb distance out here. Same position, I take one light waggle. Same swing I've been doing for years. There's really no such thing as muscle memory, but it's brain memory. Once we get this into your head, everything right with the right fundamentals, you shouldn't have to think about the swinging. But once we get set, we take one waggle and go.
Need like Velcro on the floor to keep that mat from sliding.
If I get up against that, I can look at it. experienced driver. I played probably 6, 7, 8 times this fall, and I wasn't close to being over 80 ever. She had 79 at Lost Nation once. Everywhere else was 70s. 3 putted 5 times at Lost Nation.
That was another thing we worked on for Tag Hill was putting. And I've always, when I set the ball down, put the white side up so I'm not looking at anything. And she's got me doing the label putting. And that's helped out quite a bit.
I've always believed in that.
Staying behind it because you know that label is right where you want to, but then you step over a putt and you're like, nah, that's not right. But you just, if you stroke the putt, you have confidence. It goes in every
I've told you that forever. That's okay, in this class we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but to start with we want to go through some of the basics. There's really 5 true basics that we have to learn to be able to strike the golf ball consistently. We want to learn to take the proper grip. We want to learn the proper stance. We want to have good posture. That's the first 3 things. The other 2 things are ball position, where we place the ball in regard to our stance, and swing pad, how we take the club back and through. Those 5 things are the key to learning to be a great ball striker. I'll go through them a little bit slower here, some of the things we want to learn to do. The first and most important part of the golf swing is to take the proper grip. The way we do that, we always grip the club for a right-hand player with the left hand first. So we want to take the club, the butt of the grip, this end should fall against the base of the fingers of the left hand. The heel pad, this fatty part of your hand here, as we grip the club, will go over the top. The thumb goes down the shaft, just to the right side of the shaft. In effect, if we grip the club properly, the heel pad of the hand locks the butt of the club in our hands. So we can actually release these 3 fingers just with the index finger and the heel pad. The club is held in place. With that in the proper position, that allows us, we don't have to squeeze the club very hard to hold on to it. So in effect, again, we grip it here. As we look down at our hand, I want to see my thumb going down the right side of the shaft. When I look down at my knuckles here, I can see approximately 2 to 2.5 knuckles of my left hand. That's the proper left hand grip. That's what we call a slightly strong position. We talk about a grip, we talk about a weak grip position, a neutral position, and a strong position. Well, weak position simply means that the hands would be turned to the left on the club, like this. This hand is turned way over to the left, the right hand be turned to the left. Now, we don't want to get in that position because that would leave the club face open, which would cause our ball to curve to the right, which would be a slice. The neutral position is really the ideal. I teach neutral to slightly strong. Neutral would be a nice clapping position, the hands facing each other, just as I showed you how to grip it. Thumb down the shaft. Right hand the same way, goes into the base of the fingers. So the backs of both hands face each other. That's a nice neutral position. For beginners, I teach a slightly stronger version of that grip. The hands just slightly turn to the right a little bit more. So I want to be in about this position with the left hand and the right hand here. But the key is that both hands, the backs of both hands face each other. So my hands are working together. This allows the club head from a strong position a little bit, and the wrists to work the way they should, the way they're designed. Now, a real strong position to grip, I don't recommend either. And again, that would be having the hands turned way over to the right, both hands to the right. All that's going to do is close the club face down at impact, cause you to hit low ground balls off to the left. Okay, so that's a quick synopsis of the grip. Number 2, thing we want to learn to do is take the proper stance. I call it a brace connected stance at address. So after we do that by putting our feet together, lining the ball up on center between our shoes. The ball's here between my feet. It allows me to play the ball off my spine, which is what we want to do. In this position, our feet still together, we square the club face. We take this leading edge of the club, this part, and put that directly down behind the ball, aiming it 90 degrees to the line of flight to whatever we're aiming at. At this point, I haven't taken the grip at all. At this point, from here on, then I take my left hand grip, as I just showed you, put the right hand grip on it. Now I've got the proper setup between my feet. Now I've got the grip. All I have to do is simply move both feet equal distance on both sides of the shaft. That gives me a nice stance position. The other thing we want to check is to make sure we talk about posture in our stance. We don't want to be leaning way over like this, which would hurt your back, flatten your swing, or we want to be too close to the ball, which would be like this. A nice athletic posture, so letting the arms hang straight down from the shoulders. A good checkpoint for that position is simply to take the right hand off of the shaft and make a fist. Put that between your legs and the butt of the club. So it's approximately 4 inches. Is a good position. That sets us up in the right posture. The weight is evenly distributed on the balls of the feet. Okay, so we've gone through grip, stance, posture, now ball position. Again, by having our feet together, our ball is played pretty much most of our full shots between our shoes. So a good ball position would be here. The butt end of the club is part of the grip, so that would point right up here toward your spine. That's a good ball position. Swing path, we'll get into later in the class, simply means how we want our club to come back away from the ball and through the ball. To hit the ball straight, we want to swing what we call inside and down the line, which would mean the shoulders are going to take the club back. So the club goes straight away from the ball for about a foot, and then it turns inside the shoulder line. As we come back, club comes down to the ball, squares up at the ball, and down the line. That's the way to hit a straight ball. The other things you hear about swing path would be inside out, which would mean swing the club inside the line here and out toward right field at impact, which would cause the ball hopefully to curve and give you a hook shot. The other swing that we definitely don't want to do very often is called outside in path, which is what most amateurs do, meaning the club goes outside the swing on the backswing, inside on the downswing. That's what we call an outside in swing path. Hit some balls from this position, be able to see what the proper stance, ball position, and grip should do for our swing. Typically, I've got a 5-iron in my hands here. First of all, proper grip, proper stance. Swing the club back with my left shoulder, nice and smooth. Keep the head relatively level. That's all there is to proper stance and alignment. Once we get our grip, stance, alignment, ball position, swing path right, this swing is relatively easy from that point on. A few more balls at this point. Okay, I'm going to hit some driver shots here. Now I've got a longer club shaft. It's the big club. Everything is the same as far as my stance. Posture, everything should be just as it was with that 5-iron. This swing gets a little bit longer. good swing. I'm also employing a short grip on the left thumb here for better players. Short thumb, we call it. I'm going to hit some balls from the front here. So you can see brace connected address posture first. Line up with our feet together, we square the club face. Take our neutral to slightly strong position. I have my grip in the proper position here. My thumb and index finger of both hands form a V. If we run an imaginary line through that V, we want both V's pointing about the right shoulder. That would be the proper grip position. My stance, I want the butt of the club just slightly left of my navel. So in effect, arms form this triangle, all stays in center. Hit a few balls from here. I talk about, for better players, the short thumb. Thumb goes down the right side of the shaft. I want to pull the thumb up just a little bit backwards. Just gives me a little better grip pressure, unifies the grip a little bit more. Get a couple more balls in. This is a proper setup for a 5-iron. Take away the left shoulder. It's going to take the arms and the club shaft and the head of the club all back, what we call one piece. What we don't want to do is let our hands work independently of the rest of the body, either creating an angle like this or breaking the wrist too quick and going back. We want the whole triangle to move all at once. So in effect, it really starts from the left shoulder, left arm, and the club shaft all go back in one piece. Like this. We'll get halfway back. The toe of the club, this part is up in the air. The butt of the club will still be pointing pretty much at my center. One more swing. That's the full swing. Now I'll go real quickly through what we call the 7 common denominators of the full swing. Number 1 is the brace connected address position. We square the club face in relation to our target 90 degrees. Take our neutral to slightly strong grip, the butt of the club in center, and my feet together. Now I found the low spot in my swing arc with the ball between my feet. Now spread the feet shoulder width. Let the arms hang straight down from the shoulders. Good checkpoint is to take the right hand off the shaft, make a grip, be able to get about one fist in between your legs and the club. This is brace connected posture. Okay, number 1 position of the 7 common denominators is this brace connected address. Number 2 is taking the club away with that left shoulder all in one piece, halfway back. The head stays pretty much stationary, the shoulders turn underneath the chin. The toe of the club is up, the butt of the club is in center. My weight starts with an equal weight distribution at address. As we swing back halfway, the weight starts to shift toward the inside of the right foot. Number 3 position is swinging all the way to the top. The weight is shifted from center back to the inside of this right foot. When I get to the top, I have approximately 90% of my weight on the inside of this right shoe. I get here, the lat muscles, the pecs, everything uncoil. The head is slightly behind the ball. The thumbs are under the shaft pointing to the right ear. Left arm is relatively straight, not locked, but straight. The right elbow is folded into the side of the body. Number 4 position is our change of direction, which means the weight starts to shift back toward the left. The first move down starts with the left foot, left knee, left hip, and left shoulder. So it starts to go forward. And as the left side moves toward the target, the arms start to unfold. Centrifugal force pulls the club down. By the time we get to the number 5 position, the club squares back at the bottom for a split second, just much as we were at address. Number 6 position, the ball is already gone. The weight is shifted to the outside of the right foot. The toe of the club would be straight up. butt of the club is in center, and most of our weight is shifted back to the left side now. We get to the number 7, the full balance finish position. The weight is completely on the left side of the left foot, the back is straight, thumbs are under the shaft. We're in balance follow-through position. I'll hit a couple balls and see if we can get to those positions. Here I should be able to hold that follow-through position so the ball hits the ground. One more here. Take away with the left shoulder slow. That is a good golf swing. Now I'm going to hit a few drivers. Everything's basically the same, just a longer shaft. Play the ball a little more forward in our stance, more off the left heel here rather than off the center of the body. Because we want to catch the ball slightly on the upswing. Grip is the same. The butt of the club is just left of center of my zipper. The shoulder takes it back. Hopefully the swing looks just about like the 5-iron. Again, the grip. Playing the short thumb, slightly strong position. Thumb backed up slightly. Right hand position's in the fingers. So the grip looks like this. Playing the ball slightly forward so we catch the ball just slightly on the upswing. Swing looks very forceful, but it's just like a shorter swing. It's just the shaft is longer, gives you more leverage. The left shoulder takes the club away. It'll be smooth and straight back from the ball for about a foot. As it gets here, the left shoulder continues to turn inside the line. The club again, the toe will be straight up at halfway back. Butt of the club still in center. We get to the top. We have an extended left arm. The weight is shifted in the inside of this right foot. Now we don't want to let the weight shift outside here. That would be a sway. We get too far to the right, we can't catch up. So we want our weight to just shift to the inside of the right foot. So our center stays pretty much on center on the golf ball. Hit some more drivers. Have the camera from the back to see what the swing looks like from the back side. One more from that angle. It's a good final swing. From this same position, I'm going to hit some 5-irons. 5-iron straight on. Use the cushion so we can see the swing path a little better. Proper swing path, I want to take the club. If I get my proper address, the club should go straight back away from the ball for about a foot inside. Impact, it'll come back along the cushion, square up, and back inside. Hopefully without actually touching the cushion. Grip, utilizing the short thumb. All off 5-iron just inside the left heel.
Well, were you sorry that Daly didn't win any skins?
Nah, not really, Jim.
Not me either. Of course, if he had had a decent day of putting, he would have made lots of money, but we got it on now?
One more, then I'll put it on. A few more 5-irons there. Back shoulder width. See if we can hit one from a standing start position. That swing path drill. On the swing path. Hey, Dave. I wanted to talk to you anyhow. Let me shut this thing off. We can see if we can see a few top of the backswing shots here. Closer angle.